Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And, we had some champions crowned in high school girls volleyball last week, the 52nd Girls State Volleyball Tournament, and the first ever Division V championship game.
That was a great match. Yeah, even though, it looks like Eau Claire Emmanuel dominated 3-1, but all the games were close, and Columbus put up a valiant effort. Spot of their top player was just awesome all day, but in the end, Manuel just had too much for them.
Yeah, they had some good hitters.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, they had some good hitters. And when you have good hitters like that in volleyball, it's almost like having good pitchers in softball.
I sat down and watched that, man. That was the only one of the ones I watched, but that was a good one there.
Yeah. So that was the first ever Division V championship, and again, Eau Claire Emmanuel winning that one. Manitowoc Lutheran winning their first state championship. They beat Regis in Division 4.
3-2. And Regis actually had a 2-1 lead. And that's totally opposite from their semifinal where they were down 2-0 and came all the way back. Here they were up 2-1, lost the fourth, and then I believe it was 17-15 in the final. So tough loss for Regis, but still a great season for them. So.
Yeah. All right, second-seeded Barron beat top-seeded Aquinas in the Division III championship.
I did not expect that one.
No.
I expected Aquinas to be probably a dominant team, but Barron comes from up north. We don't, there are some good teams that have come up from up there, but they dominated Aquinas. After the first set, they really dominated Aquinas big time. So
top-seeded Catholic Memorial wins the Division II championship, their eighth state title in 11 tournament appearances.
Just dominant. And Luxembourg Casco was ranked number 1 several times all season. And Catholic Memorial just kind of scooped them up, and away they went. So
kind of similar to what happened in Division I, where Divine Savior Holy Angels won their third straight championship.
Three-peat for them. Hamilton gave them a good match, so 3-1. So they didn't lose many games all season. They did lose one here, though, but 3 in a row. That's a dynasty pretty much in D1. There.
And when you're in D1, there's nowhere to go up.
No, absolutely.
So you're there.
They ain't going anywhere.
No, they won't get placed higher anywhere because there's nowhere to go.
But a great tournament all the way around, and it looks like the Resch Center is a great place to have that tournament. So
you bet. All right, so there you go. That's girls volleyball wrapping up their season. Of course, girls basketball practices getting underway this past week, along with boys and girls hockey.
Yeah, a week from. This Tuesday night is the first Newsville girls basketball game. They're hosting Bangor, so
there's a few games that'll be playing on Tuesday night.
Yeah, so away we go.
Away we go.
We're barely going to get out of the fall, and we're into winter. So,
well, speaking of fall, the 8-player state championship coming up this Saturday, the 6th WIA state championship for 8-player football, and it'll feature Lena St. Thomas Aquinas against Owen Withey, both making their first trip to the 8-player championship.
Now, is Lena and St. Aquinas, is that two different schools? Is that a co-op? Or?
I believe it is.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, they come from up in the
northeast.
North of Green Bay.
Yeah,
north of Green Bay. I guess I forget some of the schools I looked at, but anyway, 10-1 record on the season, and I think, pretty much, I guess, looking at their stats, Larry, they're pretty much a mirror image of their opponent.
Yes, they both do similar things.
Yeah.
And head coach Terry Lauby talks about that team and the game they had last week against Highland when I talked to him earlier this week, and here's how that conversation went. All right, first of all, Coach, congratulations on making it to the 8-player state football championship.
Well, thank you so much, Larry. It was a great win for the kids on Friday evening, and certainly a lot of excitement in the locker room. And as we, started practice here this week, we truly got a high level of excitement and intensity out there.
Let's talk a little bit about that game against Highland. You're playing without your top running back, but I tell you had some guys that really came through for you in the clutch.
Well, I tell you what, it was one of those things where all year long, you have a young man that, isn't able to play that week, and somebody else has been able to step up and really get it done for us. And, fortunately for us, Brandon Geldernick, who broke his collarbone in week 3, has come back, and boy, did he come back in a big way on Friday night, rushing for 217 yards and 3 scores.
Your team, you're up by 2 with just a little over 10 minutes to go. You get the ball after your stop. You stop them on a 4th down. Did you think you were ever going to have that ball the rest of the game then?
Well, that's what you set out to accomplish, but boy, that is a rarity. And when you look at what unfolded throughout the course of that drive, having to convert on fourth down, a number of big third down conversions, and the kids just able to grind it out. And, those are one of those things where truly, it decided the outcome of the game. Certainly, we didn't want to give the ball back to them. They had a tremendous number of athletes there that were capable of making big plays. And so we knew it was best if we could keep it in our hands. And what a credit to that offensive line who got off the ball, controlled the line of scrimmage, and let our playmakers just get the yards we needed.
You're in the championship game. Of course, you've been in the championship a few times with 11-player football. Any difference, if there is any, getting ready now for this 8-player championship as opposed to 11-player?
No, sir, not at all. It's back to business as usual for us. The kids understand that this is that next game, but our preparation is going to be the same. And, maybe we miss going down to Camp Randall, but other than that, this is just exciting. Our whole community is rallied around these boys. There's a high level of excitement throughout the school and the community, and that's what you really want these boys to be able to experience.
Let's take a look at the matchup now with Lena St. Thomas Aquinas, a team, when you look on paper, very similar to you. They don't pass hardly at all and have 3 good running backs.
Absolutely. Both teams are going to be who they are. You're going to try to establish that line of scrimmage, and they're going to look to pound that ball and, again, grind it out. They're not fancy. They're man-on. They're going to look to get a hat on you and just knock you off the ball and stay ahead of the sticks. And likewise ourselves, that's who we are. We are that team that is going to, hopefully establish that line of scrimmage and let our playmakers make plays.
All right, you're playing during the day. Is that going to make a difference at all after playing pretty much night games all year?
I don't think so. You look at practice, we start at 3:30, and so that light and time I don't think is going to matter. I think it's just the kids, understanding that we need to. You're going to have butterflies here. There's going to be a level of excitement, but you know what? It's still football. It's still blocking and tackling, and whoever does it better is going to come out on top on Saturday.
All right. Well, congratulations again on making it to the championship game, and good luck Saturday.
Larry, thank you so much, and thank you for doing what you do for athletics here in central Wisconsin.
That's head coach Terry Laube of the Owen Withee Blackhawks. And, one of the things that he kept saying throughout there was who controls the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. And his offensive line has done a great job in the 2 games we've seen anyway. Yeah. Early in that game against Highland did dominate.
Yeah.
In the first, and then, but slowly, after they got down 14-0 or whatever it was, you could just see that the Owen Withee offensive line just took over, and there was plenty of holes for Geldernick, and instead of Paylor getting 2 or 3 yards, he was getting 4 and 5, and they really wore down Highland a little bit up front, and it really changed the game. But what a great game that was! Anyway.
Yes, it was. Yeah, going back to what we mentioned before the interview there about these 2 teams mirroring each other. I mentioned that there with the interview with Coach Laube. They hardly passed at all. I mean, they have like 9 pass attempts.
Yeah. Sherwood's like 8 for 10 on the season, and
their quarterback isn't much.
16 for 35.
Okay, he has a few more.
So he does have a few more, but he has rushed, Larry, for over 1,300 yards. He is their big rusher. Calvin Peters and 13 touchdowns, but then you also have Tyler Shallow with almost 800 yards and Max Peterson with almost 600 yards.
Yeah.
And between them, I believe they've got well over 20 touchdowns too. So not quite a highest scoring team as Owen Withee. They scored 31 a game, but you never know what they only gave up 7. So it's going to be and I think it's going to be a very much similar game like we seen last Friday night. I think. So,
I think you're right.
And it's going to be a great game, I think, too. So
whether or not Mason Gay will be ready, Coach Laube wasn't sure.
But listening to Coach Laube, I did not realize Brandon Geldernick had been out earlier in the season.
No, I didn't either.
I wonder if Brandon Geldernick was the number 1 running back to start with.
Oh,
really?
Oh, sure.
Broke his collarbone. Mason Gay steps in, and of course, Mason Gay was in his first year of football.
Yeah,
he ran cross country his first 3 years, and he gets 1,300 yards. Well, that offensive line is just dominant. But I wondered if Geldernick was their main guy before. But we'll see.
With the season Mason Gay had, how about he's up for the Wisconsin Sports Network
absolutely.
8-player Offensive Player of the Year. And first time out. And Dominic Sherwood, we talk about him being the quarterback, but he's up for the Defensive Player of the Year as a defensive back.
We've watched this kid a couple weeks now in the defense. He made a couple of awesome interceptions, and he seems to be always around the ball.
Yeah.
He's also the guy when Highland fumbled the kickoff after their first score. That's who recovered the fumble was Dominic Sherwood.
Always around the ball.
But that interception he had around the 20-yard line where he went up in one-handed, I'll never forget that play. So
yeah. And as you mentioned, the 4th and 1 on the drive.
Well, first of all, I said that's a dream drive. 10 minutes and 40 seconds. I forget, it was like 18 plays or whatever. But to take that ball and run out the clock. But that 4th and 1 from their own 26. And that also showed a lot of respect for Highland's offense, so too.
Yeah.
They did not want them to have the ball. But it also a lot of much confidence in their offensive line too. So and to get it done.
Yeah, they picked up like 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah, it was on Sherwood though.
Yeah.
All game had been Paler and Geldernick, and Sherwood, one of the few times he carried the ball, even though he is a good runner, he picked up the 5 yards and then. But yeah, they had so many 3rd down, and I believe there was another 4th down conversion. But to run out that clock like that, 10 minutes and 30 seconds,
in that position, in that time of the game,
it's just unbelievable. And didn't score, didn't need to score, but just Owen Withy football all the way down that field. So
again, the 8-player state championship, 1:00 Saturday afternoon. Dick and I will be there to bring you the action on 92.7.
I'm looking forward to that one. That was a fun one. We had a great time last year with the Florence Thorpe game, and I think we're going to have just as much fun this year too. So
all right, so that's coming up here on Saturday afternoon, and of course the 11-player football has their semifinals or level 4 coming up on Friday night, tomorrow night. All the games at 7:00. Boyceville against Edgar, that one up at Chippewa Falls.
Yeah, and that's a repeat of last year. They were a level 3 matchup last year, and then that was at Boyceville. But Edgar really took it to them. But I do remember that game well there. They had come in, they had given up like 1 touchdown all year. Boyceville put 26 on the board against them last year. So they had, and Coach Romchild is a tremendous high-powered offense. And I don't know if he has the same cast of characters this year or not, but that should be a pretty good game up at Chippewa Falls. Edgar playing very well, though.
And the game, of course, all the games being played on artificial surface, so it could be a fast track up there.
Yeah,
for
Edgar
guys.
gave up their first touchdown in the postseason last weekend to Lords, so they're playing Edgar ball. Defense and special teams, not making mistakes on their own and capitalizing on their opponents. And I like their chances against Boyceville, but we'll see.
That game on 1450 AM, 98.7 FM, WDLB. The other semifinal, Potosi-Cassville against Kenosha St. Joseph.
Yeah, Kenosha St. Joseph, has been highly regarded all season. Potosi-Cassville was ranked number 1 all season. They were ranked ahead of Edgar all season.
Yeah.
Edgar had that early season loss to Stratford,
right.
but how they ended up being a 3 seed, we'll never know. But anyway, that's another great matchup, and that one is at Madison Memorial.
Yeah, so the winners there will meet in the Division 7 state championship next week in Madison. Division 6, Grantsburg takes on Bonduelle at Stanley Boyd.
This should be a great game. Grantsburg really gave it to Regis.
From what I heard, Regis had some players out with injuries.
Okay, I wonder if that's been the whole the postseason, Larry.
Yeah, I don't know if there's...
at the end of the season, they had a very tight game with that big school from the Illinois. It was like 36-35. But the game against Fall Creek, the game against Onalaska, they just have not been themselves.
No.
So I wonder if they've had people hurt through the... Anyway, Grantsburg 31-8 though. So,
yeah. So they take on Bonduelle, and then Belleville, the surprise of the whole tournament, taking on Lamira.
Number 8.
Yeah, number 8 seed, still going in the state semifinal.
Beat Lancaster last week, so they are playing Lamira, and that game is at Oconomowoc. So
maybe they're the opposite. Maybe they got some kids back.
Yeah, you don't know what and they might too. Might play in D5 conference, and stuff like that. But they have went through it. They went through the number 1, the number 5, and the number 2. So they did the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's no fluke.
Yeah, and quite honestly, they're playing with house money now.
Right, right. All right, Division 5, Prairie du Chien against Stratford. That game is being played at Wisconsin Dells.
Prairie du Chien undefeated, very strong team. Great running back, Blake Theory.
Okay.
And they we'll see if they can handle Stratford's speed. I thought the game against Lake Country Lutheran would be a bigger test, but they really handed it to them. And it all comes. They're just a solid team with speed and size up front. Excellent quarterback in Jack Tubbs.
Right.
You know, so
and by the way, Jack Tubbs, yesterday was signing day.
Yep.
And he is going to Division III St. Mary's of Winona
Okay. All right. Yep.
to play football.
Okay. Yep. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
over 3,700 yards passing for Stratford. So
Yeah, you know, and they've got those just a crazy speed
Yeah.
with Shaner and Bright and then Cole Tishy and guys like that.
Yeah.
They are just crazy speed. So
the other side of that Division V bracket has Northwestern against Wrightstown at Rhinelander.
yeah, Northwestern second time this year against St. Croix Falls beat them this time.
Yep.
And they are heading to Rhinelander to play a very good Wrightstown team. Very
Okay.
good Wrightstown. They're on the top of the D5 rankings all season. And that is going to be a tough test for Northwestern over there. So
All right, Division IV, Baldwin Woodville against Winnicott. That one at
Yeah.
Medford.
yeah, and Baldwin Woodville, you know, they've got some travel, and they traveled over to Freedom, beat the #1 team last week, and now they're traveling over to Medford to play Winnicott. And Winnicott's had a nice run too here. They were a #1 also, but you know, they went through Xavier and Mayville, so pretty tough tests there. So
Aquinas still alive. They
Yeah.
take on Racine St. Catherine's.
29-28, they beat Lodi right at the end. You know, and that was kind of the theme of the night about last second plays.
Yeah,
But,
it seemed to be.
It sounded like Aquinas was down by 2 touchdowns with like 2 or 3 minutes left, scored and recovered an onside kick and went in and got the winning touchdown. So obviously they're going to be right there again. So
Well, St. Catherine's no
easy one.
slouch.
That'll be, and that game is at Madison the Follett. So
All right, so again, the winners Friday move on to the state championship
Yep.
games next week at Camp Randall.
Yep.
In Division III, Lacrosse Logan against Green Bay Notre Dame at Wisconsin
yeah, and
Rapids.
that was another last-second victory because it was 48-43 Medford, which not a lot of time left, and Logan went in and scored, beat them 50-48.
Yeah.
Now that talk about a track meet.
Yeah, apparently neither team could stop the other team
Obviously
very well.
not. And I'll tell you what, the winner is going to have to play a little better defense against Green Bay Notre Dame.
Yeah, yeah. Catholic Memorial takes
Yeah.
on Wisconsin Lutheran in the other.
And Catholic
semifinal.
Memorial, of course, they moved up from D4 last year, and Luther, pretty strong team. They were a 3 seed, but I think Catholic Memorial is going to have a pretty. I look at Catholic Memorial and Notre Dame in that bracket. It's going to be right there, I think.
Now you go to Division II, and if you want to watch, I think what's going to be a pretty good high school football game, and it's
boy,
not
yeah.
that far away. Marshfield is hosting Rice Lake and West De Pere.
Yeah, Rice Lake, of course, was the D3 state champions last year. West De Pere has a storied history of football. Actually, most of that was coached by Greenwood native Bill Turnquist.
Okay.
You know, and they came through a tough. They beat when you come through Kaukauna and Sun Prairie and teams like that. You're ready, but this is going to be a great game at Hiding Stadium tonight.
Yep,
Tomorrow night,
at Marshfield tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Badger and Slinger. There's another good one.
Yeah, Badger, defending state champion. But you know, when you listen to the talk shows, a lot of people are very high on Slinger because they're supposedly one of the best defensive teams in the state. So,
Okay. All right. So could be a pretty good Division II championship
Oh,
next week.
absolutely. Yeah. You know, and a lot of teams that have bet. You know, you got the defending in champion in Badger. You got the defending tree champion in Rice Lake, and then just throw in Slinger and West De Pere too. So
It's kind of like Division I.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Division I, there's no #1 seeds left.
nope. DC Everest takes on Bayport in one of the semifinals.
Yeah, here's your second Cinderella, #7.
Yeah.
And they play a 2 seed in Bayport. That is at UW Oshkosh. So DC Everest has just been strong right from the beginning. They don't really care who they play. They've got a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
I think they took that 7 seed very personally.
I think they did. Muskego and Mukwonago in the other Division I
and two storied
semifinal.
teams here too that have been spent a lot of time on the turf at Camp Randall too. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be a really great one too. So
All right, so all those semifinals tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Winners move on to Camp Randall next week for the championship games. Divisions 4 through 7 will be on Thursday, and Divisions 1, 2, and 3 will be next Friday at Camp Randall. So a lot of high school football coming up here the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the best teams in the state. You got the best 4. Think pretty close to the best 4 teams in each division.
Yeah.
And I think they hit pretty good on the best 2 teams in 8-man too. Though Highland was right there too.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, I mean,
and
I think
Sullivan Springs too.
Yeah, I think you could have taken your
easily,
pick there.
You had the 4 1 seeds in 8-man, and they hit that right on the head.
Yeah.
As far as
any one of those 4
would be
matching up would have been
great.
good.
It'd been a great championship. Any way you look at it.
You're right. All right. It was signing day yesterday, and there were a couple of more signings I just want to mention here quickly. Brooks Hinson of Marshfield signed a letter of intent to play college basketball at Division II Northern Michigan.
Okay.
And Caleb Denis, the wrestler, is going to wrestle at Wisconsin this fall. And another wrestler from Stratford, Trenton Conoyer, is going to wrestle at UW Eau Claire.
Okay. Yep. Trenton, he's been a lower weight. I remember when he was younger, he always ended up wrestling Luke Dukes, but I think it made him a better wrestler in the long run. So, Trenton, pretty good wrestler, and a state placer last year. Dene was a second in the state, so he will be in line for a state championship this year, and that's a pretty big thing going to UW-Madison to wrestle because not a lot of guys get that opportunity. So,
no, they don't. No, they don't. All right. Well, we haven't had it in a while, a couple of weeks, but I think we got time here this
I had
this
to
morning.
rehearse this one. I wrote it so long ago. So
where are they now?
Anyway, Larry, I'm going up to Spencer, and I'm going to talk about Tanae Phillips, a 2014 graduate of Spencer High School. In the fall, Tanae was a 3-year letter winner on the Rocket volleyball team. Her sophomore year, Spencer was 34-8. They were regional and sectional champions, qualifying for the WI Division III state tournament, where they defeated Grantsburg 3-2 in the semis. Tanae had 3 kills and 11 assists in that match. In the championship match, they would lose to Utzberg 3-2. Tanae had 3 kills and 9 assists in that match. Her junior year, the Rockets were 35-6. They were Clover Belt and regional champions, losing in the sectional finals to Oconto. Tanae was an honorable mention choice on the Clover Belt East All-Conference team. Her senior year, Spencer was 24-3 on the year. They were Clover Belt East champions, losing to Auburndale in the regionals. Tanae was a first-team selection on the Clover Belt East All-Conference team. In the winter, Tanae was a 2-year letter winner on the Rockets girls basketball team. Her freshman year, the Rockets were 20-4, losing to Prentice in the regionals. Tanae averaged 2 points and 2 rebounds per game. Her sophomore year, Spencer was 18-7, losing to Regis in the regional finals. Tanae averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds per game. In the spring, Tanae was a 4-year letter winner on the Rockets softball team. Her freshman year, Spencer was 15-6, losing to Newman in the regionals. Tanae batted .200 on the season. Her sophomore year, the Rockets were 22-6 on the season. They are regional champs, losing in the sectional semis to Tigerton. Tanae batted .294 with 7 doubles, 1 home run, and 25 RBIs. As a pitcher, she was 8-4 with a 4.03 ERA and 36 strikeouts. Her junior year, the Rockets were 17-5. They were Clover Belt East champs, losing to Stratford in the regional finals. Tanae batted .275 with 5 doubles, 1 home run, and 15 RBIs. As a pitcher, she was 11-2 with a 2.6 ERA and 78 strikeouts. She was a second-team All-Conference selection. Her senior year, the Rockets were 15-7, losing to Stratford in the regionals. Tanae batted .380 with 4 doubles, 1 home run, and 18 RBIs. As a pitcher, she was 5-4 with a 4.12 ERA and 65 Ks. She was a first-team selection on the Clover Belt East All-Conference team. After graduation, Tanae enrolled at St. Francis University in Joliet, Illinois, and joined the Fighting Saints women's volleyball team. Her freshman year, St. Francis was 26-15. Tanae had 6 kills and 12 assists on the season. Their sophomore year, the Fighting Saints were 20-22. Tanae had 177 kills and 584 assists on the season. Her junior year, St. Francis was 18-22 on the season. Tanae had 79 kills and 260 assists on the season. Her senior year, St. Francis was 14-28 on the season. Tanae had 58 kills and 217 assists. She was team captain and was named an NAIA Academic All-American. Tanae graduated from St. Francis in 2019 with a bachelor's degree in English and secondary education. Her first teaching job was at Watoma High School as an English teacher, and she was also the head girls volleyball coach. Today, in 2023, Tanae transferred to Menasha High School and joined the English department there and is assistant coach for the Menasha girls volleyball team. She also works as a coach at Spiketown, USA, which is a volleyball club in the Fox Valley. Tanae resides in Menasha. Tanae Phillips, Larry.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, St. Francis. Where is that college?
Joliet, Illinois.
Joliet, Illinois. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Some of these guys, they get a chance. A place like that, at least I know I'm going to get a chance to play. So,
right. And look where we're taking her.
You bet.
Now she's a volleyball coach.
You bet.
Doing good things in volleyball. All right, where are they now? Finally got it back here after a couple of weeks. But we had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to just touch on the college football playoff top 25 because there's been a lot of issue about even with the top 12, they're still not getting it right, apparently.
I said, you're never going to make everybody happy. So, but, right now, Oregon sits on top. I don't think, how do you argue with them? You know? And the Big Ten is sitting pretty good right now. So.
Well, it's not really Oregon that I've heard people arguing about. It's Penn State, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe ranked a little higher than what
Yeah,
a lot of people
they have
think.
a loss, I believe, at Oregon. So,
and they've had some wins, but not really against quality opponents.
I mean, they played at Madison. It wasn't great.
No,
they weren't great.
But Wisconsin isn't what they used to be.
Wisconsin is not a marquee name on the roster right now. So,
and a lot of people are thinking Georgia should be a lot higher than what they are at number 12.
Well, I think they're going to get a chance to prove it. They've got a big game this weekend, I believe.
I believe they got Tennessee.
Yes, Tennessee Saturday night. So it's you got a chance there, I guess. So
you think Oregon? You think Wisconsin has a chance with Oregon?
I think they'll give them a good game, but no, I think Oregon's speed will defeat them in the long run.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. The speed of Oregon is.
And you find that with those teams from the West Coast, they just have too much speed, and the Badgers don't quite, especially on defense.
Yeah.
So solid. They play well, but they're just not in Oregon's class or a Penn State's class or anybody like that. They're good for the old Big Ten West. The Iowas. Iowa kicked them too.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I've heard a lot of rumblings. This last, is Phil Longo the answer at offensive coordinator? Because it's just not. People got used to Wisconsin football being pounding. But we'll see.
Well, Oregon and Wisconsin Saturday night 6:30 on NBC.
Yeah, Tennessee at Georgia. So that's number 7, so
12.
Yeah, so if you're going to move up, you got a chance. The big thing in the SEC, they do have a championship game, and it always helps to get into that game too.
Sure,
sure. So,
and the Big Ten will have their championship too. It'll be the top 2 teams.
Yeah, it's fun to watch Indiana play though.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's, their coach, I believe, came from the Auburn staff, and they brought in a defense. Oh no, he was at James Madison or something, and they brought in a lot of James Madison players on the transfer portal, and they built a defense. And these guys are really. I'll tell you what, they gave it to Michigan pretty good last Saturday. So
I wonder when the last time they beat Michigan.
Yeah, I bet it was a while.
Indiana football. I mean, that's the first time they had 10 wins.
Yeah, I said the last time Indiana was in the Rose Bowl was 1967.
Yeah. Okay.
So I believe 66 or 67. So
back in the day when
John Pont was
when the Rose Bowl was.
John Pont was the head coach, and that was in those days only one team from the Big Ten got a bowl, and it was the champion. They went to the Rose Bowl. That was. Everybody else stayed home.
Well, there wasn't 30 bowl games.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, you had the Big Four and maybe a couple others.
Badgers need one more win to become bowl eligible.
Yeah,
and boy, I tell you, I look at their schedule.
I said Nebraska, Minnesota.
It might be hard pressed to get that one win. I don't know.
Yeah, I said it just things just aren't right there. It's just they make too many. They'll play well for a while and then they make just mistakes. And offensive, we talk about pre-snap penalties. I think the Badgers' offensive line it leads the country in pre-snap penalty. Yeah, it's too bad. It's just not what guys like Barry Alvarez, Brett Bielema, Paul Christ. It's just just not as disciplined like it used to be. And we'll see what happens. But Coach Fickle's only in his second year, so but he might have to make some changes, I think, or else. Figure something out. I don't know.
Right. So. Well, we got a few seconds left here. I just want to remind people that community boxing is coming to American Legion this Saturday. So check out some great amateur boxing.
Yeah, that's kind of special to our family because the outstanding boxer Larry gets the Marilyn Lindo Award.
Yep.
So and he has 2 great grandsons that are going to present that Saturday night. So
all right, that's 2 Guys on Sports for this week. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again next week.